fellow music fans, welcome back to Psychology of Rock. If you're new to the channel, my name's Nina, and a while back I made a video analyzing the personality traits and characteristics of die-hard Rush fans. And since then, many of you have asked if I would do the same for Tool, knowing that I am a huge fan. Now, it is no secret that Tool fans are often stereotyped as being elitist or pretentious or self-righteous pseudo-intellectuals, and I'm sure that is the case for a small fraction of the fan base, as it would be for the fan base of any band. And unfortunately, it seems that oftentimes these are the people that tend to be the most vocal. But I think that is actually a highly inaccurate and misjudged characterization of the majority of genuine Tool fans. So today I want to offer what I think is a more nuanced and fair analysis of the fan base, keeping in mind everything that research can help us to understand about the broader appeal of the genre, and then looking at what sets this band apart from others and why specific types of people would connect so deeply with it, as well as what their unique characteristics might include. So we will look at all of these psychological underpinnings in combination with my own personal experience as a very devoted fan and see what commonalities we can find. Please keep in mind, however, that there is no analysis or finding that is going to apply to absolutely everyone. We are all unique people with unique life experiences, and so these are really just generalizations, as there are a million different reasons why we might profoundly resonate with the band. But with that being said, I do still think there are some pretty significant commonalities. So let's just go ahead and dive in, and please let me know at the end if you agree with this analysis and if there is anything you'd like to add or dispute. So firstly, while there are no studies, of course, that have been done on Tool fans specifically, there is quite a bit of research that pertains to the personality traits and characteristics of rock and metal fans in general, so I think that is a great starting point. We know, for example, that they tend to score extremely high in traits like openness to experience, which shows that they naturally have a preference for complexity, novelty, and emotional depth in their music. We also know that they tend to be highly creative and introspective and often exhibit a strong sense of individuality and nonconformity, which is likely why they identify with the types of lyrics we often find in these genres. And something else that I've spoken about a lot on this channel is that some studies also indicate that metal fans in particular may also possess above average intelligence and excel at analytical thinking. So right off the bat, I do think that all of these things tend to apply. But like I said, this is just broad research on the genre, and I do think that Tool really is in a league of their own. So let's talk about the different reasons for this and how that might affect the potential fan base. Now, please let me know what you think I'm leaving out here, but the first thing that stands out to me is the musical complexity and the fact that the band often defies conventional song structures. They're well known for using odd time signatures and polyrhythms, and songs like Lateralus even incorporate concepts like the Fibonacci sequence into their arrangements. So it's almost like the music is both a technical and intellectual experience. And the technical proficiency here is by no means limited to just Danny Carey's incredible percussion. Every member of the band is truly a virtuoso in their own right. To me, they are not just musicians. I think of them more as architects of sound. And I'm definitely including Maynard James Keenan here. He is one of my favorite vocalists of all time. But I think the entire band has this unique ability to balance raw emotion with their technical proficiency and creativity, which has just given them such a distinct sound. Adam Jones is the perfect example of this. He is such an amazing guitarist. He is so precise and he is able to create such atmosphere. I love how he's able to make the music sound so heavy, but still so lush and moody and melodic. And both Justin Chancellor and the original bassist Paul D'Amour are able to create these intricate and often syncopated rhythms that are just so memorable and unlike anything else. The second you hear the bass line, you know that you're listening to a Tool song. And all of this combined with Maynard's impeccable vocals that just weave effortlessly around all of this musical complexity creates this totally immersive sonic experience that I don't think can be compared with any other band. To to me it's almost like they are their own genre, and we haven't even discussed the lyrics yet. But before we move on, let's talk about how these characteristics of Tool's music might appeal to a specific type of listener and what traits they might be tied to. The first things I think would have to be intellectual curiosity and appreciation for complexity, because obviously Tool's music demands active listening to be really able to appreciate all of these intricate rhythms and unconventional song structures and all of these incredible layered soundscapes that we see. I think it also shows that most fans truly appreciate the band's actual craftsmanship and value their technical skill in musicianship. It's also highly likely that many fans are musicians themselves. I also think it's safe to assume that most fans are likely highly sensitive in a positive way to sensory experiences. And that brings me to the next thing that I want to bring up, which is the band's integration of the visual arts. This is something that I think a lot of fans appreciate, including myself, and I think it adds another layer to the band's identity. Tool collaborates on a regular basis with the incredible visionary artist Alex Grey, whose surreal and almost spiritual artwork is definitely one of the defining features of the album covers and their live performances. I really think this very distinct artwork helps give the band an iconic visual identity that many people resonate with. I also think that Tool's music videos, which are usually directed by guitarist Adam Jones, are equally groundbreaking. I remember being completely blown away with the stop-motion animation that he used in Sober, but I think in general, fans just really like the unsettling visuals and the abstract storytelling that the band likes to use. I also think that this emphasis on visual aesthetics elevates Tool from being just a progressive metal band to being a full multimedia experience. And because of this, I think we can also speculate that fans of the band tend to have an appreciation for art and just creative expression in general. But even beyond all of this, I think one of the biggest factors that sets Tool apart from other bands is lyrical depth. In fact, in my opinion, they have some of the deepest and most thought-provoking lyrics in modern music, and I think there are a lot of reasons for this, but one of my favorites is Maynard's brilliant use of metaphor and symbolism. I love analyzing his songs on this channel because nothing is completely straightforward, and it's really interesting to sit down and think about the possible meanings of his lyrics, especially because there seems to be layers of meanings in the ambiguity that can be interpreted through many different lenses. I think fans also appreciate the incredibly profound, esoteric, and intellectual themes that we often see that reference ideas from Jungian psychology, Eastern philosophy, and mysticism, along with themes like personal growth, self-discovery, and breaking free from societal expectations, but also touch on very real and often very dark human emotions and experiences like unrelenting anger and soul-crushing grief that are just so relatable. And Maynard's emotional authenticity, both in his lyrics and his delivery, make the songs feel so personal. So with all of that being said, I think it really does take a certain type of listener to resonate so deeply with these emotionally and intellectually engaging concepts and enjoy deciphering some of the hidden meanings within these songs. So I think it's fair to say that it's likely most Tool fans are intellectual themselves and enjoy cerebral and provocative art. I think they are also likely to be more emotionally intelligent and self-aware than most people and able to empathize with the human condition. They are also likely to be very open-minded and open to experience because these tend to be the traits that we see when people enjoy exploring different ideas and perspectives. But I also think that Tool fans are often people that seek meaning and understanding in their lives because Maynard's lyrics often contemplate fundamental questions about life, death, and the meaning of existence. These are not themes that every person truly appreciates or engages with on a deep level. In fact, they are not even things that some people feel comfortable exploring at all. So I absolutely feel that having a personal connection with these types of topics definitely says a lot about the fan base. But this analysis would not be complete without talking about something that I think Tool fans deeply share in common with the band, and that is the idea of rejecting mainstream narratives and social norms and prizing your own authenticity and artistic integrity. This is something that is very obviously incredibly important to the band. We see this in their complete refusal to adhere to standard music industry practices like releasing singles that are designed for radio play or maintaining a super active social media presence. To me, this sends a strong message of independence and nonconformity. I think people who are drawn to Tool are likely to resonate with this type of defiance and almost see it as a reflection of their own values of standing apart from the crowd. It's really been clear since the beginning that the band wants to focus on art over fame, which is definitely rare in a culture of oversharing and commercialization. In fact, I think the band's music, lyrics, and entire visual aesthetic provide a counterpoint to the homogenized products that we now see in the entertainment industry, which is something that I think we as fans really love about Tool. So I really don't think that being a fan has anything to do with being pretentious or elitist in the way that we are being accused of. I think that yes, some people may take pride in their ability to appreciate the band's complexity, but that is a far cry from being pretentious. I think it's really more about genuinely connecting with true artistry and intellectual depth. For me, Tool checks every single box when it comes to what I look for in a band to begin with, but there are so many additional things about their music that transcend just superficial entertainment, and really the boundaries of rock and metal music in general, and it doesn't surprise me at all that they found such a loyal fan base that appreciates these qualities. I'm also not surprised by the results of this analysis because I think that we often see that the fan base of any artist tends to share a similar worldview and sometimes even the values and traits of the artists themselves, or they can at least understand where the perspective is coming from. So given all of this, I would have to say that I definitely fit the profile of a typical Tool fan, and I would love to hear if you feel like you also resonate with these characteristics, and if you agree with this analysis, and if there are other observations that you'd like to share. I look forward to hearing your thoughts in the comments. Please also let me know what song or artist you'd like me to analyze next. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in the next video.